Enthusiast or buyer, cars or bikes, all that you need from the auto world is right here on the Autocar India channel. Subscribe now. We've already brought you our first drive impression of the diesel version of Ford's new Figo-based cross hatchback, the Freestyle. The focus of this video is the petrol Freestyle and its all-new 3-cylinder 1.2-litre petrol engine. All new 3-cylinder? Yes. Branded TI-VCT, this engine is the latest from Ford's new Dragon engine family. Its 1.2-litre displacement helps the Freestyle meet requirements for tax SOPs on small cars, but the number of real interest is its 96 HP of power and 120 Nm of torque. The power figure makes this the most powerful of the naturally aspirated 1.2s, so there's lots to look forward to. To let us get acquainted with the new engine, Ford charted out a route from Jaipur to the Sambar Lake, and almost immediately the Freestyle impressed. The Freestyle's petrol engine is impressively quiet at town speeds, and what's also really likable about this motor is that the build of power is really nice and smooth, and you don't get that low speed hesitation that you get in many of the other naturally aspirated 1.2-litre motors. Sure, it's not as peppy as Maruti's 1.2-litre engine, but if you compare performance in town with what you got on the Figo and Aspire that use the older 1.2-litre engine from Ford, this one feels so much more alive. As we exit the city and speeds build up, the Freestyle and its engine feel better still. This is one of those sort of engines that gets better and better the more you wind it. It's almost like it gets a second wind at about 3000 RPM onwards, and after that there's a continuous and strong flow of power right till the top end. In fact, there's much to be gained out of revving this car right till its 6800 RPM limiter. And the engine doesn't sound half bad either. The thing is, it does sound thrummy when you do open it up fully. But again, it's not a bad sound and actually goes with the nature of this engine. Engine apart, there's also the new gearbox to talk about. Also making its debut on the Freestyle is Ford's new 5-speed manual gearbox. It's a big departure from the old IB5 unit that we got on a lot of Fords before. This one is crisp, it's positive in shifts, and it comes allied to a light clutch. So whether you're an enthusiast or a commuter, you seriously won't have any reason to complain. And enthusiast or commuter, you will not have an issue with the way the Freestyle drives either. In terms of ride and handling, there's nothing really different to report of from the diesel Freestyle we've driven before. What you get is the feeling of being in a very well-sorted car. Now this is a car that rounds off the bumps at low speeds really well. High-speed stability is really good. In fact, you don't get this sort of confidence in all cars of this size. Then when you reach a corner, you'll realize that the steering is just so communicative. You always know what the front wheels are up to. Body control is good. The grip is really good. So in all, it's a fun car to drive. It's fun in the corners, but how is the Freestyle in the rough? The Sambar Lake proved to be a great setting to find out and test how rugged Ford's crosshatch really is. So how does the Freestyle feel on the loose sand of the Sambar Lake? Now this is not the most challenging of off-road scenarios, but the Freestyle is working quite well here. Of course, the ground clearance comes handy, so when I do veer off the track, there's no fear of the car bogging down and bottoming out as such. And you know what, being a Ford, there's a bit of playfulness just built into the car, so you can chuck it about. And of course, there is that safety net of electronics, which I will just demonstrate how it comes into play. When you do get too overexcited with the car in these environments, you always have the safety net of ESP and traction control, and there's also what Ford calls active rollover protection. So when the car senses that there is a possibility of a rollover, it'll cut engine power and brake individual wheels just so that you can get all the stability you want back. And you know what? It works. You can feel the engine cutting power, you can feel the brakes pulsing here and there. Quite cool. You do have the option to switch traction control off should you need to wiggle your way out of a low traction surface. The safety suite also includes 6 airbags, and there's also Ford's emergency assist that uses a synced phones network to automatically contact local emergency services in the event of a collision. Opt for the top spec Titanium Plus Freestyle and there's plenty by way of goodies too, including automatic climate control, auto dimming mirrors, automatic headlights and rain sensing wipers. But perhaps the most impressive feature is the new 6.5-inch touchscreen. Sure, it's missing onboard navigation, but you do get Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, and the screen is super slick. It really is one of the best systems around. Also, as we've reported earlier, the touchscreen has brought the cabin to the present. It's a pleasant place to be, but it's not as spacious as larger crosshatches like Honda's WRV, and quality is also not quite up there with the best in class. Then again, the Freestyle is likely to undercut other crosshatches on price, with prices likely to be in the 6 to 8 lakh rupees bracket. So, could the Freestyle be the crosshatch for you? If you like to drive, the answer is a big yes.